This is the middle of our retreat. The second full day. And we have one more full day tomorrow. So we practice all day. Yesterday we practiced all day together. And sometimes if we practice all day and we're practicing mindfulness, we might feel very tired at the end of the day. Or if our meditation was going well and we were feeling happiness, then we might feel energized. We might have a lot of energy at the end of the day. There's the different types of vivek. There's the kaya vivek, chitta vivek, upadi vivek. So the theme for this retreat was Cittaviveka. In Thai is chitta vivek. And that happens when things don't have as big of an effect on our mind. Sometimes if we are in retreat meditating, the smallest thing, somebody might say something or something might happen and our mind cannot stop thinking about it. So that means that the thing that we experience in the world, it stick to the mind. So there's the three types of mind. There's the mind like open sore. There's mind like the dirt, mind like the earth. There's mind like water. The mind like the open sore is anything that happened is like poking the sore, like it hurt really bad. Everything is difficult. Everything is irritating. You could also say mind like stone, where if you scratch a stone, the scratch stays there for a long time, doesn't go away. So if we have a mind like stone, something happens and we think about it for a long time. Maybe somebody in our family did something wrong, or they stole some money from us or something. And then if we have mind like stone, then it could be 30, 40, 50 years later, we don't want to forgive them because of what they did. So that's mind like stone, or you could say mind like an open sore. Then there's mind like dirt, mind like earth. With a mind like dirt, that's the more like in the middle. If you scratch the dirt with a stick, it leaves a mark. But then when it rains or when there's wind, then that mark disappears, goes away. So if we have mind like dirt, that means something happened to us, something bad might happen, but we can think about it and it can get better over time. It will disappear after not very long. Then the mind like water. Mind like water is when you take a stick through water and it barely leaves a trace. The water just, the mark disappears immediately. So mind like water is when good things, bad things get said to us, good things and bad things happen to us, and it does not stick. It does not stay in the mind. So that's like a Cittaviveka is mind like water. Yeah. And the mind like water, it comes through practice. You could also think of it as like qigong for the mind, like mental qigong. So when we're doing physical qigong, we learn how to flow with nature. We learn how to allow the energy in the body to flow naturally. And when we do mental qigong, that's the same thing. If we are good at mental qigong of the jit, qigong in the jit jai, then if somebody criticizes us, it's like doing the arm flops. It's like it just goes off to the side. So we could start to cultivate the mind like water in that way. And very important when we're meditating. When we sit in meditation, it might come up, especially if we're meditating all day. Somebody said something to us, or somebody even looked at us in the wrong way. And we think, what are they thinking about me? And it comes up in our meditation. And sometimes this is just because we have not acquired a taste for meditation. And the mind, when we meditate, we do Buddho, the mind becomes empty and anything just gets pulled into it. That's why sometimes it can be helpful to think about the life of the Buddha. Sometimes it can be helpful to think about something during the meditation, because if the mind is empty, then whatever thing might get pulled into it. We start thinking about that person who criticized us or who stole something from us. So sometimes if that happens, it can be helpful to think about the Buddha or think about the Dhamma. It's okay to think in this way during meditation. Or we can think about the body. Where is there tension in the body? Is there tension in the face? Is there tension in the eyes? And then we can start to have fun with the meditation. Sometimes we have to give the mind something to do. If we are the type of person who really thinks a lot, then we need to give the mind something to do. Luang Por Cha said, if somebody already does not think a lot, and I think the women have an easier time with this. The women find it more natural to go into samadhi, and men find it more natural to develop panya and more thinking. And so if somebody can go into not thinking, that's fine, and develop the samadhi. But Luang Por Cha said a lot of people, they think a lot. But if they think about Dhamma, it can be quite good. Think a lot. If they think a lot, but they also practice a lot, eventually they will think about letting go. So that's good. That's how we can use the thinking to our advantage. Hey, Kwam Kit bin Prayot. Also, last time I had the opportunity to pay respects to Luang Por Ban at Wat Wang Perm 6 years ago. He was teaching the lay people, and he said, "Hey, Patipat Tam Taja Gao Na, Don't Kit Mark, no?" And then everybody's like, what? Bok Pit, Fung Pit. And then, Don't Kit Mark, Mark. And everybody confused Song Sai. So he said to think a lot, have to think a lot about Dhamma, about the Dhamma. Kit Mark, Rung Tam, So it's okay to think about the Dhamma. If we never think at all, we might get into a state where we are not able to develop panya. We're not able to develop wisdom. This is like the Brahma God. The Brahma gods, they are the immaterial, the arupa chan prom. They might live for 80,000 aeons. Bat moon gup blawa kappa, pasapali kappa, kalpa, gaku, pasa angrit aeon. It's the very long period of time. My kit alai is just they don't think, but they just exist. And then after that, they come back down. If they're reborn as human after 80,000 aeons, then it is said that they will be very absent-minded. So if you're someone who is very absent-minded, don't worry. Maybe that just means you were a Brahma god for a very long time. Did not think at all. Don't have to think about anything. And even though the Brahma god lives for a very long time, because they don't really experience anything, it's just no suffering is there, but it's still the asmimana, still the atta, so it still has to take the rebirth. But there's no manifest suffering for that time, so there's a state of great happiness and bliss. But 80,000 aeons, I mean, it will pass by baptio very quickly because they're not really experiencing anything. The reason our lifetime seems long for us is because we experience things every day. We have to eat, we have to sleep, we have to take care of our body, we have to work, have to make money. For the Brahma God, they don't have to do any of that. They just exist. So even though it is considered a good rebirth, the Buddha did not recommend trying to be reborn there. Because we still have to come back, even if we get that much of a rebirth. This is anicca. So if we die and we get reborn as Deva, it's very good. But then Deva have to die also. So we have to come back. So this is Wata Songsan. This is samsara. Goes around and around and around. Very long time. So we have to practice while we have the time. One thing that we can do if we want to think about it during the meditation is Marananusati. Now, the Buddha said that if your mind goes into samadhi, if you have that ability and your mind goes into samadhi, but you can still have some thinking in the earlier stages, like in, say, the Buddha said in first jhana, you can still have the thinking, you still have vitaka vichara, still have vitok vijan. If you are able to do that, and then you think, even this, it feels so good. Even this meditation is anicca. even this will pass away. Then the Buddha said, the mind can give rise to panya, to wisdom, very strong, very, very strong wisdom, insight, and you can see the Dhamma from there. So if you think, even if really, really good, really, really nice meditation, and then we think, even this is anicca, even this is anatta, then the mind can see the Dhamma from that state. Yeah. So normally we only want to think about anicca when we're suffering. Normally, when we have dukkha, then we think anicca, anicca, anicca. But when we're happy, we don't want to think about anicca. We want to keep being happy. We want to be happy forever. So when we're very happy, we think, oh, I want this to last a long time. And then when we're suffering, we think, this is impermanent. This is impermanent. Okay, I hope it goes away soon. But that's not the way to insight. The way to insight is to think about impermanence when we're very happy. They say it's easier to let go of the wheel when you're at the top, not at the bottom. Yeah, so it's like you're holding onto a wheel and the wheel goes like this, it goes like this, and when you're at the top, you can let go. But if you're at the bottom, you try to let go, it doesn't do anything. So we let go when we're at the top. That's the best. Something that we can think about is that when we let go, the happiness becomes even more. And because the happiness become even more, then we hold on again. Oh, this is even better. So we have to let go again. And then when we let go again, the happiness is even more. So it's very difficult. When the happiness is so much, how can we keep letting go? We want to hold on to it. Yeah. So for somebody who is pra-arahant, if there's the Kruba Ajahn who gets to the point of pra-arahant, can you imagine what they must experience? Because they have happiness and they're always letting go, or they're not even letting go. They're not holding on to it at all. They're not touching it. So they experience the happiness, but they're not touching it. And so it must be, I would think it must be completely different than what we normally experience. So if we're able to let go, that's also Cittaviveka. The suffering cannot touch it. The happiness cannot touch it. Yeah. Mare don quam tup, mare don quam sup. Chit my don lok. So the Buddha teaches about this in the Chan TC also. There's no happiness and suffering in that state, and it's purified sati. When sati is full, sati is pure. So for myself, I just talk about this. This is in the suttas. So this is more from my own study. Again, like I said before, my mind doesn't incline towards really strong samadhi in that way. It has more thinking. Yeah. But I can talk about this in terms of this is what I've studied in the Buddha's teachings and thought about it a lot. So when we feel good during the meditation, say we might have a meditation today where we feel quite good. And then we think, what if we don't hold on to that happiness? What if we don't cling to that happiness? Clinging in English, in Thai, it's yup man to man. So if we don't yup man to man, what is that experience like? And then sometimes we do have to pick things up and hold things. But Lungpo Cha said, when we hold something, normally we hold it like this, like we have a fist. He said, when we hold things, normally we hold like this. But in the Dhamma, you want to hold like this, so you can set it down very easily. He said, in the Dhamma, when you have to pick something up, pick it up with your open hand. Don't hold it with your tight fist. He said, pick it up gently. Then you can set it down. Any of the things we think about during meditation, like Marananusati, death contemplation, we don't pick it up tightly, but we pick it up in a light way, and we think about it. We think around it. We think eventually, we don't know when, but this body will die. And this is why we make effort to practice, to make the mind good, to practice as much as possible. So we can continue sitting for another 30 minutes, and then we will change postures.